What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on a future video. And without further ado, everyone, again, if you haven't already have been familiar with who I am, again, my name is the Fiercezilla, and as you can see what I have right here laid out on the table in front of us today, we are going to do somewhat of a Playmates Godzilla and Kong the New Empire figure haul and a little bit of a review of what we have here on the table today. And as you can see, there is quite a lot that we need to go over today in this haul video. And as you can see, we have a couple of the 6-inch figures all the way to the giant Playmates figures. And first up to review, well, more so to go over and look at. Now, here we have the Battle Roar Scar King. So again, just to clarify, this is just to go, again, looking through with what we have here, and eventually we will circle to getting more in depth with these figures and a later figure review. So, with, again, the returning series of the Battle Roar line of Godzilla figures from Playmates. So with the Battle Roar line for Godzilla and Kong the New Empire, you have Godzilla, Kong, and Scar King at the moment, which later, but not featured, I think, at the point when this was recorded, of Shimo also being included in the Battle Roar series. But speaking of Shimo, here we have her with Shimo with Frostbite Blast. So again, with all of the packaging on these figures, again, just to let you know that there is more to collect. And as you can see on this box, you have a nice, a little more close-up look and a little background with Shimo and her role in the Godzilla and Kong the New Empire film, alongside with the villain Scar King. And below, you see more figures that to be on the lookout for to collect, which we will also take a glance over and look at. So we got Godzilla with Heat Ray, Godzilla Evolved, Suko with Doug, Kong, and Scar King. So at the time, again, once this video was recorded, pretty much in my haul that I have based off of, again, from Godzilla and Kong New Empire, what was released so far by Playmates, not included with the other ones that came afterwards, as Playmates still has continued to either add more new figures of different Titans to add on, or different, I guess, colors, schemes, or different iterations of either Godzilla and Kong or Scar King and Shimo. And here we have Scar King with Whiplash. So the Whiplash does come in as an accessory that comes together already with Scar King. And yeah, definitely a much different figure compared with Kong. And with most of these Playmates figures, have some decent articulation. But again, will vary in the paint apps, as again, a lot of figures of these ones here are, I'm sure, compared, are going to have different well, more so similar colors, but of course, just with the paint apps, a little bit more different, depending on the paint jobs on figures you may have in your collection. And again, looking at it here on the back side, a little more in depth with who Scar King is and his role in the Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire movie, as portraying as the main antagonist and being the one who controls Shimo. And I believe that we just also came upon the 1 year anniversary to when this movie came out. And again, with your Scar King figure, you can pose that Whiplash in any manner that you would like. But again, it is kind of a bit similar to a bendy wire, but it's kind of stiff too, to where you can't. Maybe you can, depending on how you work around to get it posed similar to the way how the box art is posing it. But again, just an example with how Scar King would hold the Whiplash in his hand, which we're going to go ahead set back in the box. And next up here, we're going to take a look at Godzilla Evolved. So, a lot of exciting things that came around when we first got those pictures displaying Godzilla's new appearance, where Godzilla essentially gets an upgrade, or gets a very much needed evolution phase to become a lot more fiercer and stronger to come against the odds that Godzilla and Kong have to face against the might of Scar King Shimo and Scar King's army. And again, showing Godzilla Evolved's artwork on the backside of the box. And a new addition to the Playmates wave, also a little bit different, is now here we get Suko with Titanus Doug. So, with Titanus Doug appearing of a small brief cameo in Godzilla vs. Kong, as Kong is traversing through the Hollow Earth to try to find his other fellow people. And without any luck, does not come across them until the next film in Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. But looks like Titanus Doug makes a return, and alongside with the young ape Suko, which Suko also comes with his own accessory of a boulder to throw, essentially. Now, the interesting figure that has been part of this 6-inch wave of Playmates Godzilla and Kong figures is the Titan Evolution Godzilla. So on the far right side there of the images, you're supposed to get an evolved Godzilla figure bursting out of this old skin of Godzilla. And if you want to, you can scan this QR code to see more details on that. If I can get, yep, there we go. So again, you can take a moment to pause the video there and take a scan of that QR code. So essentially, with this 2-in-1 figure, you have Godzilla, where Godzilla is in a standard state before going through that evolution process. And I guess at some point, maybe that there was a point where we would have seen the skin, an empty hollow Godzilla skin somewhere. and being discovered. But I guess things changed to where when Godzilla in the movie just takes a nice slumber to evolve with all that radiation to, again, be more of a much more ferocious and stronger version of himself. And the compartment to get this figure out. So again, this is just like a rubber material that you just gotta peel back to reveal Godzilla Evolved. And with this figure of Godzilla Evolved, slightly a little different compared to the standard 6-inch figure, whereas one instance right away would be the arms have a little bit more articulation compared to where they can go more all the way back than with the standard 6-inch Godzilla Evolved figure. More so has a range of motion to rotate the arm only in one direction, but you can again bend the arm or bend the arm and rotate it as well for the Godzilla Evolved figure that's within your Titan Evolution Godzilla. And again, very loose tail there, because when you take that Godzilla Evolved figure out of the rubber skin, you got to also attach it, which you'll see in the directions at the bottom. That assembly is required because when you have it attached, again, that completes your Godzilla Evolved figure, but you want to make sure it's detached so that way it is able to still fit within the rubber skin of your Titan Evolution Godzilla figure. And definitely has that range to, again, bend, but again, it's together on a string. Alright, so let's see, who do we have next? Alright, speaking of Kong, so this time around with Kong, we have a Kong with Beast Glove, and also coming together with a little aircraft from the movie, also as well with the packaging. So, similar to the mold of the Godzilla versus Kong Playmates figure, and just a close up look at the accessory piece that comes with it of the new upgraded aircraft that the Hollow Earth Monarch team uses to get to Hollow Earth and to Earth. So, again, a little bit more in depth read on what Kong is doing in this film. But with the new appearance of Kong in this Playmates figure, so Kong this time around has what's called a Beast Glove. And with this Beast Glove, if you've seen the movie already, that Kong succumbs to a very severe injury to where he gets a frostbite attack blast from Shimo and needs to be healed in a much speedy recovery. So, with the help of the humans from Monarch, Kong, in a sense, gets an upgrade with getting his own Beast Glove that kind of almost resembles an Infinity Gauntlet. But nonetheless, it's still a cool touch with this Kong figure now. And here, taking a look now at the Godzilla with Heat Ray. So with this one, again, it's another Godzilla standard figure, where this time it's before Godzilla gets his evolution look. And similar mold with the previous Playmates Godzilla figures from Godzilla vs. Kong, but the one notable difference being is that the tail is in a different pose this time around, and with the breath effect also a little different as well. And again, giving a little more in-depth read of what Godzilla is doing prior to the step of getting evolved. And I believe, again, just when we go in depth with this review for this Godzilla, so you see a little bit there with that battle damage effect as well on the seam of Godzilla's chest there. So with this one, they surprisingly... Oh, oh, okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. I think I got mixed up between another one that had that, but you couldn't take off. But looks like you still can for this one. So again, I guess I proved myself wrong on that one. But anyway, that one does come with battle damage for this Godzilla figure. But now we are gonna go ahead and move on next to the Battle Roar Kong figure. So with this Battle Roar Kong, it's a little bit more better in a sense to where the face of this Kong, the mold, is a little bit more accurate, so to speak, but not as odd as compared to the first Battle Roar Kong we did receive from Playmates for the Godzilla vs. Kong Battle Roar line of figures. But again, with this one, same thing to where on the back of Kong, you just gotta press that button to initiate the Battle Roar from Kong. And again, with all three figures being displayed together on the back side of each packaging. So yeah, this one similar pose as well with Kong, or bended arm, Kong pounding his chest, raising an arm, and yeah. And neat thing about those ones with the Battle Roar figures, they already have batteries included. But again, just keep in mind that you may need to replace those batteries at some point. And usually they take those coin-shaped batteries, and they should be, again, the same type of battery you'll need to replace once, again, the Battle Roar effect the batteries die, that you'll need to replace them. So again, with the last one of the series at the time, for, again, all three Battle Roar figures in the line, you got Godzilla Evolved, Kong, and Scar King. So with the Try Me button, so the button that you do have to press for on Godzilla Evolved is more on the top right hand side on Godzilla Evolved to initiate that Battle Roar from Godzilla. And let's see, who do we have next? Let's see. Alright, so now getting into the giant series of Playmates Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire, giant wave of figures. So, Godzilla Evolved in the giant wave. So, looking back, I believe this was also one of those first early on photos that were going around at the time, showing what Godzilla looked like for the giant Godzilla Evolved figure. And here with the figure as well, again, just showing Godzilla having that evolved, again, new look, having more of those dorsal spines doubled on the edge of the tail there, and very, again, displaying big look onto this giant figure of Godzilla Evolved on the backside of the packaging. And again, showing a little bit of that story on the top left-hand side there of what's going on with Godzilla. And of course, with these giant Playmates figures, they each have their own, again, articulation, as do with the small the 6-inch wave of figures. And looking at here what we have with Giant Kong with Beast Glove. So to compare from this one to the other Giant Kong is now with this time we have this Kong with a Beast Glove on his right arm, to where again gives Kong a little bit of that upgrade needed to withstand again the battle against Scar King and Shimo. And a little bit more articulation there as well with this, with this time of this giant Kong. And also another look on the backside here, again just showing a bigger display of your giant Kong figure with the Beast Glove. And last but not least, from this wave of giant figures, and again, at the time, these were the only 3 that I got so far until, and if you haven't already, please make sure to watch the giant Shimo Playmates figure review, if you haven't already. And with this one, here we got giant Scar King with Whiplash. So as you can see there a little bit, just a little preview there with Scar King's articulation, to where you can get movement with the arms and posability also as well with the legs there. And one other neat feature with Scar King is that besides rotating the waist of Scar King, is you can also remove the Whiplash. And again, a much more fearsome look of the packaging on the back of this giant Scar King box on the back. More up close giant look of this figure. And this one, part of the 3 at the time giant figures released into this wave, and later on with again them including Shimo. So as you can see here, with the Whiplash that already comes with as an accessory attached onto your Scar King, you can also pose that Whiplash in any manner you would like and place in the hand of Scar King to pose. And similar to its 6-inch counterpart, a similar instance of a bendy wire, but again, just got to get it to where if you were going to pose in a certain way, it may take some time to get that pose, depending on how your methods are to get it in the pose you'd like. Alright, let's see. Who do we have here next? Ah, yes. So the 2-packs that Playmates had released. That was a little bit something new and different to add to the table. So looking at what we have here with these 2-packs. So one, you get a 2-pack of Godzilla Evolved and Shimo, and the other you get Kong with Beast Glove with a Scar King with Whiplash. And on the other hand, with Godzilla and Shimo, you get they're both atomic beam effects, and you also get a small scale of a diorama that you have to, again, assembly is required, as you can see with those pieces there, which we will come back to circle later on to review, that you can kind of, again, embrace a similar look to that. Well, all right, folks. Well, as you saw that with heard that with the sounds, definitely a new surprise that Playmates has added on is masks. A Godzilla mask and a Kong mask, where you would put onto your face, and then there's a strap underneath to where once you open your mouth, it will mimic that roar, that of Godzilla and Kong. And something also new and different that they have added as well are these hollow earth crystals. So within a box set, you get a total of 8 different crystals. Well, not different, I should say, but some that you may get duplicates of. So essentially, they're like a blind mystery box, blind bag, so to speak. And when you open them up, you're going to get different titans included in there. So with this one, there's Kong, Godzilla Evolved, Scar King, and Shimo. And with these crystals, they come wrapped in artwork that is wrapped around on all sides. And again, just referring to the movie and who you have a chance to collect them all. So again, this including Godzilla, Kong, Shimo, and Scar King. And you got cool artwork of all 4 Titans on the art on these individual Hollow Earth crystals. So essentially, you have pretty much good chance if you get a full set of 8 to possibly get 4 out of the 8 that you need to add to your collection. And then you might get duplicates. And something that's not part of with Playmates, but part of Jada, are these Keychain minifigures. So these die-cast figures that also have Keychain on attached to the figures. So you're supposed to get from this small wave of you get Godzilla, you get Kong, Scar King, and Shimo. So with these ones, you can also find alongside at possibly your local Walmart. I don't think they would have them at Target, but Walmart would be the place to go to find these small keychain figures nearby the other figures that are also with the Godzilla Playmates. And what do we got here? We also have a controller. A controller to what, you may ask? Well, we are going to go ahead and find that out, which is also another product from Jada, and that is an RC Godzilla figure, which is definitely something awesome. Well, alrighty, everyone. You got a little taste of a little bit of everything there. Yeah, so again, at some point, I'm going to go ahead and get around to covering each one at some point. But just a little taste of what's to come down the road. But yeah, I hope you stuck around to watch the entirety of this video, and if not, if you're just tuning into this part, well, hey, still happy to have you, and look forward to other future uploads, posting down the road on the channel. So again, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. And enjoy the rest of your day and night. See you soon.